there is a lot going on in the world of MMA. Last week, it was all about Conor McGregor, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and I suppose Khabib is still dominating headlines right now. Sorry, Lewis, I know you're sitting there patiently, but I might as well break it down. Everybody knows there was not a big riot, but there was the scuffle in the crowd afterwards, which was very unfortunate, and it was a black eye for the sport. But Khabib has come out of the woodwork and said that if the UFC fires his teammates who fight for the UFC, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, the actual quote he posted on Twitter, which I think is pretty badass. He goes, "I would like to address the @UFC. Why didn't you fire anyone when their team attacked the bus and injured a couple of people? They could have killed someone there. Why no one saying anything after insulting my homeland, religion, nation, family? Why do you have to punish my team when both teams fought? If you say that I started it, then I do not agree. I finished what he had started. In any case, punish me." And then what Zabira to cook. I don't want to fucking destroy his name.
That guy
has nothing to do with it. If you think that I'll keep silent, then you are mistaken. You canceled Zubara's fight, and you want to dismiss him just because he hit Conor, but don't forget that it was Conor who had hit my brother first. Just check the video. If you decide to fire him, this is fucking crazy. You should know that you'll lose me too. We never give up on our brothers in Russia, and I will go to the end for my brother. If you still decide to fire him, don't forget to send me my broken contract. Otherwise, I'll break it myself. And one more thing, you can keep my money that you're withholding. You are pretty busy with that. I hope it won't get stuck in your throat. We have defended our honor, and this is the most important thing. We intend to go to the end. #brothers. Holy fuck.
That's awesome. What's even more awesome is distinguishing the broken English. I think when he says, I hope the money doesn't get stuck in your throat, it means I hope you fucking choke on it. That's probably what he means. If you break contract, I break contract myself, and money stuck in your throat. Okay, enjoy that. You're pretty busy. It's like,
man who break contract live life of swollen donkey. What?
In my country, we say, man who break contract with UFC live like eagle in mountains or some shit. I don't know.
Any man who lies like a pig in the mud must sleep with his grandmother's corpse. Okay, all right. This guy gets it.
You live like gypsy for life. Okay, all right. Fucking Khabib. Yeah. Pretty gangster. That's very, very gangster of him, and I agree with him. I agree with him in essence. I'm not saying I agree. I don't agree with the UFC and their stance of it as well. Of course, the UFC have to do something about what happened last week, and the Athletic Commission have to do something about it. They have to. Now, Khabib's got a point. Conor pretty much did go unpunished. Well, he got arrested. He got punished through the criminal legal system, but he didn't really get punished from the UFC. So that's Khabib's gripe, and I can understand that. I see his point there. So he's basically calling out the double standard. If Conor didn't get in any trouble, then why am I? But as I said last time, and again, I'm a fan of Khabib, and I think what he did is great, and I admire him standing up for his teammate, his brothers, and all that. I think that's beautiful. I do. But two wrongs don't make a right. These don't, and I stand by that. It'll just be interesting though to see how the UFC handle this. Maybe they call his bluff. It is. Maybe Zubara said, I don't know. You know what this reminds me of, Lewis? Reminds me of when me and you worked for SiriusXM, and we were like, well, if he doesn't get a fucking pay rise or whatever it was, then I quit. And you did the same thing for me. But I remember I said, oh, Lewis, you don't have to do that. And you said to me, Mike, you don't have to do that. And I would expect when it's $2 million fucking dollars plus pay-per-view on the line, Zabaru, whatever his name is, to say, Khabib, I get it. I appreciate it. I love you. But I'm on 12-12. Okay. It's going to take me 1,000 fights in the UFC to earn that kind of money. So maybe I'll go fight for Bellator.
To be honest with you, my name's kind of out there now. It's kind of a good thing.
Exactly.
This guy's a free agent. I don't really know his record or his background. In fact, Harrington, if you want to pull up what I don't know if he's like an upcoming prospect.
And he's probably got some goats to milk anyway.
Yeah, maybe. So here's the thing, if he's not about to set the world on fire, getting released from the UFC with his name being involved in this high profile way is by far the best thing in the world that could happen to him, because you can go fight for Bellator, you can go fight for another organization. But you know this as well as anybody else. You do not want to be banned from the UFC. You don't want that to be the end result. You look at guys who are great, not necessarily banned, but what's his name? The gentleman, 170 pounder, Ben Askren, never just kind of fell out of grace with Dana White, talked shit publicly, was never got the opportunity. And I think he's a guy who, super, super talented. The world really never got to see what he had to offer on the largest stage. And I think guys who are competing, especially these guys who are hashtagging fucking honor and brothers, and this is really about it's more than money for these guys. I think a guy like that, probably would want to test himself against the best guys in the world.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, it's really refreshing, actually, and I know we're having fun again. Once again, that's what we fucking do on here, So if there's any Russians listening, I think we're being disrespectful. We're not. We're having fun. Get a sense of humor. I think it's really refreshing in this modern day and age where, of course, everyone's career obsessed, money obsessed. You see all these people on Instagram get after it. They're working out and they're showing off about it. Everyone's just obsessed with status and profile and money and celebrity, and I just think it's so nice and refreshing and decent to see someone like Khabib, who's on top of the world right now, to say, do you know what? I'm willing to walk away from all of that if you disrespect my brother, my teammate, my friend. And I commend him for having that attitude. I hope that he doesn't do it for his own sake. He's got a tremendous career ahead of him. He's probably pound for pound. Well, he's definitely in the conversation for best pound for pound fighter in the world.
I think pound for pound best. I think when you look at his 27-0, there's never been a question about him using steroids. I mean, when you consider that, John Jones is the only other guy who I think you could really kind of make the argument for. I guess GSP, but GSP is so inactive that you can't, it's kind of difficult, right? But Khabib is the one dude who is truly undefeated. Has never lost a round. You could debate that he lost a third round against Conor, but that's still up for debate. Who else do you give it to?
Well, as you just said, John Jones there is the only thing that made me hesitant to say, because I was going to say, it was in my mind, say pound for pound best fighter in the world. But the only thing that made me hesitant as I was saying it was what people would perceive as a slight lack in the striking department. But saying that, he was the one that landed the big shot against Conor anyway. So that's not fair to say. But I've spoke about this many times. You can still be an effective striker, but you don't have to be the most skilled. Certainly Khabib was very effective Saturday night. But I think he'd be the first to admit, and a lot of people would also agree, that perhaps his striking game isn't on a level of perhaps a John Jones, and John Jones is very well-rounded. But that's not what we are debating today. He's certainly probably pound for pound, if not top 3 guaranteed. That's a fact. Probably throughout history of MMA as well. As you say, 27-0. Probably never lost a round. Perhaps maybe lost one round to Conor. Maybe it was a draw. Who knows? But as I say, I just think it's incredible that he's willing to do that. I really do. I hope that he doesn't. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how the UFC counter. It really is. Because they're in a tough position.
What do you think?
Of course. I mean, Conor wants to rematch,
would you do?
Right?
How about this? This is what you're in charge. Michael Bisping is the new Dana White head N-word in charge, as they say. What would you do in this situation? Yeah, now
I'm going to tell you a quick story right now. I was filming the movie Triple Threat in Thailand last year, right? And I met Steven Seagal. Okay. And Steven Seagal said, would you like to join me for a cigar? Yeah, I don't smoke cigars, but I'm like, fucking Steven Seagal asking me to hang out and drink some whiskey and smoke a cigar. Yeah, okay. All of a sudden I smoke cigars. Okay. So I sit down with him and his bodyguard, and we're chatting away. And he was great. He was. I know he has a bit of a bad rap, but he was very gentlemanly-like. He was very engaging. He was very friendly.
He wasn't trying to open up his silk robe to you or try to get you to do any scenes with him?
Well, there was a lot of things that got said that will remain unsaid on this podcast, that's for sure. I was like, fucking keep your voice down, Stephen. Do not say that out loud. I've got a bad enough reputation as it is. But the point of this story is that he was talking about Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, and he has a big status in Russia, and he says that he knows Trump very well, and he was like, listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin together, and I'm just going to bang their heads together, okay, and get them to figure this out like men, you know? So I'm going to go down the Steven Seagal route. If I was the UFC, I'd get Khabib and I'd get Conor, and I'd just bang their heads together and say, come on, guys, figure this out. But that wouldn't work.
That's that. It wouldn't work.
That's how easy it is for world peace, according to Steven Seagal. To fix this, all I got to do is get in a room with Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump, bang their heads together, have a chat, and we're all good. And he was deadly fucking serious. Anyway, that aside, UFC can't be seen to do nothing. Although, you know, maybe they dropped the ball on Conor a little bit. I don't know. I'm not saying officially they did, but I can see an argument for that. But Conor was the biggest superstar they've ever seen and still is. But Khabib, I would say, is riding his fucking coattails pretty hotly these days. You know,
Khabib definitely increased his worth so much. Even, look, dude, I don't care if it's bullshit, dude. Because we've seen guys a million times over come out and be like, you know, even Conor's the king of sort of holding the UFC's feet to the fire and saying, dude, it's my way or the highway. That's Conor, right? He's the first dude who sort of like was like, oh shit, dude, they're just letting him do whatever he wants. But it was always for the business of Conor. And it was cool. Look, I love the whole Money Mayweather thing. It's like, hey, these guys are showing stacks of cash and fast cars and blah, blah, blah. But when Khabib does it for the name of his brothers and honor and for what's right and what's righteous in the world, dude, that story right there, he wins so many fans for that, because there's no angle on that where you look at it and go, even if you think that he's wrong, you know, in his mind, what he's doing, even when he says like, you know, he's saying I started. He's like, no, I finished what Conor started. In his version, he's looking at it as like a man. Like Conor started this much bigger thing, and it wasn't about that incident. It was about the whole bigger thing. And I think that adds a ton of value to him. I do not see the UFC getting rid of their, you know, potentially the biggest star in the world. You know, UFC is very smart because they've recognized it's not just about North America, it's about the world. And having European stars, you were one of the first guys they tried to do it with, dude. They know that they need that, and I think that they would be stupid to get rid of Khabib. I think they're going to end up maybe suspending his boy. They're going to figure it out. They're going to work it out behind closed doors.
So, by the way, I'm being very careful not to interrupt you, A, because of Rule 17, and B, because it digitizes the sound a little bit. But you're right. From Khabib's standpoint, it's about men and honor and this and that. And you know, if we lived in the olden times, if we lived in the, you know, medieval times, Khabib's completely fucking right. Because that's how it would have gone down. If you start one bit of shit, well, you said, well, you better kill me, because I'm going to come back and finish it, you know? In modern times, you know, you can't, that's not how you can conduct yourself. Now, of course, people like Khabib, people like me, people that are fighters that probably would have been on the battlefield back in those days, that's how they still kind of operate in their minds, but you've got to be able to control that, you know? So whilst I agree and I sympathize with Khabib's actions in that regard, in terms of modern civilized behavior, it's not correct. All right, guys, are you looking to last longer and go a few extra rounds? We all know that Lewis is, and we're talking about the bedroom performance here. So if you want to go a few extra rounds, get to bluechew.com. Bluechew.com is the first ever chewable that brings your performance to another level. Check this out. They've got the same ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so they work. Since they're chewable, they'll work faster than a pill. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And this stuff is cheaper than those two, so this really is a no-brainer. Plus, you don't need to go to a doctor's office or spend time awkwardly waiting in the pharmacy line, because Blue Chew ships straight to your door in discreet packaging.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I got the prescription. You know, for me, Bisping, it's kind of funny, as we've heard in MMA fighters that have used the excuse of taking Viagra and getting popped for steroids, which is pretty funny just in general. So I think we still have to look into how we can get you onto your Blue Chew prescription, but it has changed my life. Doggy, people, listen to me. Let me tell you something. People, it's not like, oh, you have to have problems in the bedroom. It's not about problems. the way I describe it is there is 20% more of you that you don't even know about. And it's just, it makes sex better for her. It makes sex better for me. If you guys like to bang, if you guys are a fan of this show, try it out for free. The best part of all this is you get to just try this out absolutely free. Mike, you want to tell them how to get it?
Well, I was actually signaling for you to do that, but of course I would love to because it's a great deal. We have got, seriously, a good offer for you. Visit bluechew.com. and you get your first shipment free when you use the promo code BELIEVE. Listen, $5 shipping. That's it. That's blue, BLUE, chew.com. Promo code BELIEVE. Pay the shipping. You get it for free. Let's go. On with the show.